Hi and welcome to Lesson 9 of the Encore Music Notation software tutorial. This time we're going to take a look at a feature called the staff sheet. And a staff sheet is a way to do several things. It allows you to get text on the page. It also allows you to select which instruments are going to be put into which stave. And it also gives you the option of doing some transposing. And so I'll show you how that works. I've selected one of the standard templates that comes with Encore, and that's the big band template. And so on this one, let me show you what we do. We go to where it says Windows, and then down to where it says Staff Sheet. And you can see that there's a shortcut available that it's Control and a slash. If you just select Staff Sheet, then you'll see what happens. So this window pops open, and it gives you some information about what's going on. The first thing I notice is that it has the staff number. So there are 17 staffs on staves on this page. And it tells you whether you're going to have each one playing. And so when this little arrow is highlighted and solid, that means that it's playing. If you wanted to remove the first trumpet from the playback, then you could just select that, and it would get rid of that one voice when you listen back to the score, when you played it back. You could turn all of these off theoretically and then turn one on, and then you would be hearing that one specifically. So there's any way that you want to use this option, you can do it. The name of the particular staff, you select it by just clicking on it, and it brings up a window that allows you to type in some text. You can offset it, you can choose a font, and this is all how stuff is going to appear on the score. So it's going to be, in this case, right justified where it is in place. I could center it or I could left justify it. But you can see that over here, when you close this, then where the trumpet one is, it's right justified. It could have been centered or left justified, and we'll move it over here, but it moves to the right. So if we go back to Windows and Staff Sheet, we'll see some other things. The size of the note determines how large the staff is going to be and how large the notes are going to be. You have sizes 1 through 4. 1 is the smallest, 4 is the largest. So if I decide I want to select a size 4, then you'll see what happens. I get an extremely large staff for all of the notes. In this case, they run into each other, so I'd have to do some maneuvering around. But if you select a note to display, so if I pick a quarter note and put it in here and say put the quarter note right there, you can see it's a huge note, and it's something that's out of place in this particular context. So I'll go back to where it says Staff Sheet, and I'll go back to, instead of 4 for everything, I'll say let's pick 2. That might be a better size for our score, and then it brings it back down to something that's a little more reasonable for this particular example. If I go back to Windows and Staff Sheet, then you can see the next thing that's very interesting. This is the transpose feature of the Staff Sheet and of Encore. So if you have multiple instruments, they can all be in a certain key. So the trombones, the guitar, piano, bass, those are all in the key of C. So those have not been transposed. But B-flat instruments and E-flat instruments have been transposed, and so they'll appear in their correct notation on the score. But when you play the score back, they'll actually play back the correct pitches, and so it'll all sound right. So if I look at trumpet 1, I see that it's B-flat, and I can see that the options that are available move it up or down. So in this case, it's down a major second. It's a major second lower than C, which is correct. If I go and look at an alto sax, then I can see that that's a major 6th lower. And if I look at a baritone saxophone, bari sax, I can see that it's a major 13th lower, which again is the way that the transposition works for a baritone saxophone. So that's very, very important option, very easy. Channel has to do with the Midi channels that we will talk about in a future tutorial. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now. But there is something interesting. If you want to take a look at the Midi instrumentation, you just click on one of these things, and this window pops open, and it says, here are all of the instruments that are possible to assign to that particular staff. And if it's going to be something like an oboe, then you could just select the oboe, and it plays sample notes for you. And so gives you some options that you can listen to. And this is all called General Midi. And we'll come back and talk about this more later on. But that's definitely a way to assign certain things to the score. And then the last thing is volume. If you're going to be setting a particular volume level up or down for a certain instrument for its playback, and again, that's for its MIDI playback when you were listening to it or creating a MIDI output file, it would be very helpful to have that ability to change the volume level. I'm not going to do anything with that now. We'll come back and talk about that later when we talk more about MIDI. Anyway, that's pretty much everything you can do with the staff sheet. You have a lot of control here over not only just the text, but over the voices and the transposition and everything that might be available through a score. So that's it for this tutorial. If you want to look at more tutorials, you can see my web page, which is listed here. And if you want to learn more about Encore, you can go to the Passport website, which is also listed here. So we'll see you in a future tutorial. Bye.